Is that a
I know you hate the
Coors?
lady. What?
Is that a Coors
Is
banquet
this a
beer?
Coors? Are you accusing me of drinking a Coors Light right now?
No, no, not a Coors
I'm.
Light, a Coors
Oh,
Original.
oh, that's slightly better.
I feel like
I
that's an
think, but no, I have
acceptable.
not yet fully given up on life. It's a Voodoo Ranger IPA from New
Ah,
Belgium.
mm,
So, yeah, no, I'm still a twat about my beer.
that's fair.
Yeah,
So, I mean, IPAs are disgusting, but
you're disgusting.
I'm not. That's because I don't drink IPAs, so
No,
they're the worst. Light,
you're.
like a light beer, a red beer, like
I know
honestly,
you
red
like your
beers.
Mac and Jacks though.
Yeah, that's an amber.
Yeah, that's a fucking flavor to pick though. Like you're married to that for the night. That's a hard beer to switch away from, in my opinion,
I
and
feel
go
it's not
back.
too heavy. Like it's
It's
mid-range.
not heavy, but it's a there's a lot of beer in your flavor. I'm doing a bad job explaining what beer's flavor is.
You
Is
are.
it malt?
It's Mac and Jacks is nutty.
Hot.
Well, you
So nutty.
just
It is nutty, isn't it?
it is actually like that is like one of the big
Like that's
flavor
the description of
profiles.
it. Like
Yeah,
for some reason
it's a
Chardonnay
nutty,
is oaky. I've never once
buttery.
tasted oak. I've never tasted butter either.
Uh
When we worked at the country club, I just went, nah.
oh man, I taste the butter mostly because it's like a mouthfeel thing, right? Like if you eat a bunch of butter and it like sticks to your mouth, like that's what they're describing.
Can I go on the record about something?
Don't talk about how much I used to eat butter.
No, I wasn't gonna bring that up at all.
Never mind then.
That wasn't it.
Oh,
Megan never ate an obscene amount of butter one time with a fork in front of me.
it was on a
No, I was
waffle.
talking about how I genuinely hate the phrase mouthfeel.
Oh, that's fair. But I mean, it also does like accurately describe
No, it
things.
it does, much like the word moist accurately describes things. But mouthfeel, I'm just like I don't want to think about it.
Yeah, like how things feel in your mouth. What's been going around on TikTok? I don't know if you've seen this. Speaking of mouthfeel, that ripe avocado tastes like clean penis. It's been
I'm not
everywhere.
gonna.
It's
I'm
been
not
every. It's
gonna.
like on BuzzFeed, all over.
God,
I
I'm
don't
glad I'm not really on the internet.
to comment on this. I feel like that's not true. Like
I don't. I
I
don't think
don't,
so.
I don't think that taste connection makes sense to me.
No, what dicks have these people been putting into their mouth? And
I
more
don't know.
importantly, what avocados? Like, you're
Yeah,
not getting good avocado if it's reminding you of a penis.
I feel like avocado's buttery. Like I hate to bring it up, but
Okay,
like
I'll give you that. I just don't know how Chardonnay. I mean, I guess I get like the weird slicky mouthfeel. I just don't like. It's a weird word. I appreciate when something has a good mouthfeel. I just don't want to talk about it. You know?
yeah, I get that. You
Yeah.
have like the opposite of an oral fixation then, you
No,
know?
not quite. I have my lip pierced. I guess I used to chew on my lips a lot.
So
That's
you
what I have a thing.
like to be about it, not talk about it.
Yeah, I don't like to talk about it. I have a Virgo moon, dude. Shush.
Don't talk about it, be about it.
Oh my god, you're such a fucking nerd. Oh, speaking of nerds, do you know what
Yeah.
time it is?
Should we put on our hats?
I think we should. I think we should for fuck's sake end up actually making these goddamn hats. I
Yeah.
keep meaning to do it.
What type of hats?
The tin hats.
'Cause it's tin
It's
hat
tin
time.
hat time.
Always off. Just fucking
Every
off.
single time,
Always,
never once
always
been
off.
on. Well, never will.
Oh, by the way, I'm Megan, and that's
Hannah. Hi guys, I'm Hannah. And
yeah,
that over there's Megan. She already said her name.
yeah.
Um,
Thank
yeah,
you.
you're welcome.
What are we talking about this week?
Today, you guys, we're going to talk about something really fun, something I've been now dreaming about because I've been researching it for too long. Um, the Rendlesham UFO incident, also known as the um, Bent Waters and Woodbridge incident. But I like the name Rendlesham because
Where
it's
are
the
these?
name.
Where is this place?
It's
Or
in the United Kingdom. I was just about to
okay,
get there. Because
okay.
Rendlesham is the name of a forest. like a little forested preserve area in
Okay.
Suffolk, England, in Britain, which is
Is that
England
how
and
you say it?
Suffolk. Yeah. Or Suffolk? Suffolk. You think about an L, but you don't say the L. It's just Suffolk.
I have no
Why?
idea, honestly. I genuinely don't. I just like I'm trying to grasp how this word
It's
is spelled.
Suffolk, and it's Suffolk.
Okay. I don't know how they say stuff over there.
They're in, oh god damn it, I forgot to write down whether it was East or West Anglia, and I'm not sure now that I'm saying it that there is a West Anglia.
I have
I think there is.
I couldn't tell you. I
Oh
genuinely
man.
couldn't. Dude, I don't
Oh,
even if like you told me like put all the states in the correct area on like a US map,
I
couldn't
think I
do it.
could get about 30% of them.
I could do most of the West, but like East Coast, not at all.
All
Specifically
you
like
could
the Northeast to like Midwest, fucking no idea.
see, I'm from the East Coast, so I could do that one.
Yeah.
It's when we get to the square ones in the middle that I'm going to be all over the place. So, our UK listeners will forgive me for not knowing what the fuck Anglia means,
Yeah.
other than it's a creepy ass area. I think it's East Anglia. I feel like it's the place where in like, did you ever watch The Last Kingdom? God, we're
Oh,
getting off topic. With
it's
Uhtred, son of Uhtred.
I don't even know who that is. Is
Oh
that like a
man,
Game of
dude.
Thrones reference?
No, fuck you. It's The Last Kingdom or the Saxon stories. It's good shit.
No, I have
Um,
no idea. No fucking idea.
Yeah, anyway, they're all over East Anglia's dick all the time. Anyway, so we're in one of the Anglias and it's
Okay.
creepy area. Everybody knows that it's spooky ooky. Rendlesham Forest. And in around Rendlesham, there are two Air Force bases. They were Royal Air Force bases, but this being the 1980s is when the story takes place on Christmas, actually.
Oh.
And it made me wonder if it wasn't inspirational for some Doctor Who shit. Um,
Yeah.
but So I got entirely off track when I mentioned Doctor Who. It like took my brain like went and like swirled over here for a second.
Yeah. They do
Um,
like their Christmas specials. They're usually pretty
they
good.
do
So,
like their Christmas specials and their Christmas pranks
yeah.
and Christmas crackers and Boxing Day. And this all takes place like around Christmas and Boxing Day, and it has to
In
do
the
with aliens.
80s.
So of course, and the
Okay.
80s. Okay. So it's Christmas, it's 1980s, we're in the Rendlesham Forest, we're in the middle of the Cold War. So these two places have been Royal Air Force bases, but now they were occupied by the United States
Okay.
because it's a lot of shit to do with NATO and the Warsaw Pact that like God, I'm not going to read about it. Um
That's
I'm just
fair.
not.
No, it's
Yeah.
it's a boring topic. Honestly, the Cold War, it's like sort of interesting, but also not at all. Um,
It's not remotely interesting to me. I know a lot of people who find it to be a fascinating period in history. I'm not one of them.
I continually think of the Cold War as that one like Spider-Man like finger pointing guns at like other Spider-Man finger pointing guns. Like that's what I think of when I
Hmm.
think of the Cold War. Like, do you know what meme I'm
That's
talking about?
oh yeah,
Like
absolutely.
just
That they yeah.
back
And they're
in
just pointing at each other and
yeah,
yeah, that's
that's
100% what the Cold War was.
yeah.
100%.
I feel like that should be in
But so
textbooks.
just in case uh the Soviets decided to get squirrely or whatever and invade Europe, we wanted to have some nukes there. So there and like it was the so it let me slow down and take a deep breath.
Okay. I'm with you.
I have been thinking
Nukes.
about and living in this story for like the last 10 days and it's infected me. I've literally started dreaming about it. I dreamt that I was in the woods in Rendlesham Forest last night and ah so I'm
Maybe
going to
you
take a
were
deep
there.
breath. Dude, don't even start me on the fact that I could have
Maybe it
astral
was like
projected to this place.
yeah, maybe that was real.
Stop
I
it.
never dream about this shit. I just like fucking never. I never
I
dream
have been
about any of this
dreaming about
shit.
alien things for like 3 weeks now.
Yeah. I've been listening to the
It's
last
not
podcast and they
bad.
keep talking about that where they all dream about all the stuff that they're researching. Fucking
Yeah.
never. Not once. I fucking never dream about this shit. I don't know why.
Do
It's like
you
I just shut off that part of my brain. And like
do
I
you
dream
even
about
do you dream?
I do
Do you
I
even have
dream
dreams, Megan?
I had a vivid dream the other day that I got a tomato tattooed on me. Like I got a tomato tattoo.
God, you got to get a tomato tattoo. Oh yeah,
I
you told
know,
me about
right?
that. You've got to get a tomato tattoo.
Like that's what
Anyway,
I dreamt
so
about, not aliens. Go
there's a
on.
bunch of Americans in this Air Force base that maybe or maybe not has nuclear missiles in it.
Okay.
Um, and it's interesting that UFO sightings seem to happen a lot around places where there are nukes.
Yeah.
And they seem to happen to Americans a lot. Like even overseas in England, this happens to Americans. It's just
We're the
curious.
we're the
Um,
main characters. Did you hear that, world?
well,
We're the fucking main
no,
characters.
Megan, stop.
I know that's a joke. But we think we are. That's the worst
Oh,
part is
absolutely.
we
Actually,
fucking think we are.
what the last podcast on the left guy said was that because Americans are a little bit more fanciful, we can get kind of carried away with our imaginations, and sometimes it leads to some really outrageously bad shit. But sometimes it leads to making some of the best films ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're creative and
That's why
imaginative.
cults thrive here because of religious freedoms.
Cults do really well here, and because our imaginations we can just get swept away with something.
There's actually a lot of really interesting books about that, but all right, I digress. I'm sorry. I'm getting you
Whatever.
off
It's
track.
a total digression. But so in the base, they were it's like I said, it was Christmas 1980, and they're patrolling around the Woodbridge back gate area, and one of the patrol officers, they're all dudes, all Air Force guys, saw lights descending into the Rendlesham forest, and they thought it was like an aircraft that had gone down. So homeboy calls in and is like, hey man, I saw these lights. And like the security guys, who were Sergeant Peniston, Airman First Class Burroughs, and Airman Cabansag. Cabansag. Cobbensag.
What is
Cobbin.
that? Is that
I'm
like a
trying to say his
title?
last name,
Oh, okay.
and I think I'm having a stroke.
Yes, a little bit. I was like, is this like
It's
a title?
No, he was an Airman Cabansag. Cabansag. Cabansag.
Sure, Cabin's Hug.
Sure. So it's Peniston, Burroughs, and Cabansag, and they go out on foot to check out what was out there. And they saw what appeared to be a craft. Metallic, triangular in shape. They said it was about 9 feet wide, kind of a thing. So like big, but not like massive.
Okay.
And it had lights coming from the bottom of it, like based off of the silhouette and stuff like that. And it was, it was like a triangular shaped thing with a little dome on the top, and like three, like a doop doop, three little landing, like tripod
Okay.
on the floor.
I gotcha.
Ground. I guess it's the ground when it's outside. And Sergeant Peniston claimed to have touched the craft, like that he came all the way up to it and touched it and observed hieroglyphic kind of markings on it. And he said that he touched it and that it was very smooth and very warm. So that when he touched over where the hieroglyphics were, what?
Nothing. Go on.
No, I know. It doesn't help that his name is Peniston. I know. It's not great.
Okay.
It's extremely childish, and like the whole time I'm just like, meh. I bet middle school was pretty miserable for Jimmy Penis Town, which is absolutely what they called him.
Probably.
Because middle school, if any of you out there recall or are currently in it, is the fucking worst. Also, if you're in middle school, go away. Get out of here. This isn't for you.
Yeah. All right. Go on to this warm, smooth craft.
So the craft is warm and smooth, and he's like caressing it and going, oh, except for probably not. And he gets to the, he's just caressing the craft, moving his hands over it. Not slowly. At all. No, I wish you could see this guy, like had seen video of this guy, like not a fucking chance. He's very, very much a retired Air Forceman. He knows what he saw. Yeah. So when he touched over where the markings were, he said that it felt rough, kind of like sandpaper or like glass etching would feel, like not quite raised, but just like rough. And
Yeah.
he took some sketches while he was there, like of what the craft looked like, descriptions of what he was seeing, and he took a rough sketch of the hieroglyphics that he saw, or the glyphs, I think we should call them, because they weren't, I don't know what you would call them, the markings on the
Yeah.
side of the craft. And he there's also some stuff that we're going to talk about when we get to speculation corner that I'm leaving out, but we'll bring up later.
Okay. I'm into it.
Hopefully, unless I forget. We'll see. So when he and his patrol partners got back, they thought that they'd been gone for about 10 minutes, but they'd been gone for almost an hour. They'd been gone for 45 minutes,
Oh,
and
damn.
all of their watches were 45 minutes slow.
Weird.
Yeah. Oh, also while they were there, like the thing like took up off through the trees and like phew zoomed away at what Sergeant Peniston recorded as takeoff. And what did he say? Speed impossible.
Mm.
Yeah.
So like
Speed
it was there
impossible.
like directly in front of them and just whoop.
Yep. It just went whoop,
Did
pew,
they
and
see
then was
like anything inside? Like could you see
they could
inside?
not they couldn't see inside, but they felt that since there were lights and such like that, that the craft was intelligently operated, but they could not see any occupants in the craft. It could have been a drone type of a deal.
Mm.
We'll get to that.
Okay.
So then they call out the 'cause remember, it's fucking Christmas, dude. Like everybody on base except for like the poor sad suckers who are on duty that night are at the base party. Everyone's having
Yeah.
a good time, everyone's getting schmammered,
Yeah.
and except for the people who like are obligated by like their sworn duty to the country to stay sober. And having been that person when everyone around you is getting wasted and having a good time, it's just like, cool, I'm glad you guys are having fucking fun. No
Sounds
thank
like
you, I did not want a beer, I'll have a fucking other orange juice, thanks.
the
Yeah,
ideal
it's the
time to
worst.
attack is like on Christmas or a holiday.
Fucking right.
So I mean like thinking from like a this craft landed, like I don't know if that's like they knew, right?
We
Like,
will
oh,
get
let's go. Okay. All right.
hold
All
this
right.
for speculation corner, dude.
Oh, okay.
Hold this in your heart and we will totally get to it because your mind is gonna get blown. Because this
I
is
love
some
it.
weird ass fucking shit. So they call out like the security guys get back and they're like, something's fucking out there, man. And they're like, yeah, we better get the guy, the base commander. But the base commander had to pass out presents and awards because it, like I said, was fucking Christmas. So they get the lieutenant commander of the base, or the deputy commander of the base, Lieutenant Colonel Charles Halt. And Halt goes out there and he's entirely expecting to just debunk it. He thinks maybe this is a prank that's being pulled. Maybe this
Yeah.
is a Christmas prank because they've been warned that the British do that sort of thing. And the Brits were not a big fan of the American soldiers being there.
That's not super surprising.
No, they used to say that the Americans were overpaid, oversexed, and over here.
That's funny. A little bit of
Right?
role reversal, right? Like the Brits being in like the
Right? Like,
US,
oh,
right? And
yeah,
everybody
ha
was
ha.
like, "Fuck you, you dumb lobsters." And like now
Yeah,
it's just like the big dumb Americans occupying Britain.
yeah,
I think it's funny.
yep, yep. But so Halt gets up and he goes out because he has to leave the party where he had to, I think he was like on duty like as acting commander since the commander was at the like doing the official party duty as it were.
Yeah.
So he goes out there fully expecting to like tell the boys to settle down and
Yeah.
like don't they know what a lighthouse looks like?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not what happened. He
He
ended
got
up
freaked
being a
out.
witness to a further light show.
No shit.
He happened to have his recorder on him, so he turned it on and started recording what is known as the Halt records. No, the Halt tapes. It is intriguing as fuck. So I listened. They're like 45 minutes long, so I kind of skipped a little bit into it because, like, if I am not gonna listen to them like describe the bass. I wanted the good shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get
So I
that.
got to the part where they see the UFO fly at them and release down a beam
shit.
of light. And like one
Oh,
of the guys in the
shit.
background is like, look at those colors. It's unreal. Like, do you see that? Oh my God. Like, these guys are fucking freaked. Like, it gave me chills from my scalp to the weird little 2 hairs on my toes that won't seem to go away no matter how many times I pluck them. Like, I was so chilled to my bones listening to the halt tapes. So that was crazy. But yeah, so they see these 2 crafts up there, 2 to the north and 1 kind of to the south. And then the 2 in the north take off away from them, and the 1 from the south comes forward and like flies at them, and they're all like on the tip, they're like, whoa, oh my god, he's coming right for us. And then it drops like a fucking light down and beams at them.
Oh.
And then pew off at that impossible speed again. And that would have been Lieutenant Colonel Hall, Master Sergeant Nevels, and I believe his title was Sergeant Ball. So those 3 went out afterwards to, I know, you're making the face. We've got Peniston and Ball,
Yeah,
and none of these jokes are new.
No, they're not. Also, just to clarify, was this like an audio recording or was this like
Yes.
a videotape? Okay, because
Audio
this is
recording.
the 80s, right? Like it makes more sense if it was just like, here's, my little, like,
It was his little dipperty-doo little Walkman recorder thing that he was pretty stoked he had gotten for Christmas, probably.
yeah.
Or, he was also doing his due diligence and recording.
Yeah, I mean, like he was a higher up, right? That makes sense back then. That's like, let me just do a voice recording.
Well, they still do that.
Yeah. So
I would imagine, yeah.
that makes sense.
Okay.
I got excited. I thought it was like a video recorder. I was like, oh shit, this dude pulled out a fucking gigantic.
There's some intrigue. Oh my god, that'd be hilarious. Like my grandfather at Christmas.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of like what I imagined, right? It's like he just came from the
amazing.
party or something. He maybe was like, oh, look at all these people getting fucked up.
They
or whatever.
absolutely would not have had the deputy commander of the base filming.
Fucking,
not
I don't know.
Fucking chance in hell.
If he was all fucking excited about his new camera or some shit, who fucking knows?
He wouldn't show it.
Yeah, that's true.
Military bearing.
Yeah, that's true. I thought it was like you'd be able to like see the lights and shit. Like, I don't
know. There's some. No, that's not for this one. I have some stuff where there's some very compelling video evidence that we're going to get into later on a different week. Just not right now. Okay. There's some compelling. There's the audio is compelling. And what everybody who is involved, Peniston, Cavansog, Burroughs, everybody was like, it didn't make any fucking sound. Like it was eerie as hell. They were down there. They were looking at it. They felt super disturbed.
Maybe it did.
It was
just
hot.
Not
like it's crisp. What?
Maybe it did. It's just not on a frequency that can be picked up by the human ear.
Something like that.
Yeah.
But it's the area down there was like warm to the touch, which was very strange because it was Christmas fucking day in goddamn England, which isn't known for its balmy, warm winters.
No, it's gonna be cold, potentially snowy.
Yeah, it's gonna be, and they're on the goddamn beach because they're like near like.
Oh, so it's gonna be fucking cold.
So it's fucking cold and disgusting. Like this was not a awesome place to get stationed because Rendlesham Forest had a reputation for being super fucking creepy. And the beach there is one of the, I heard it described on a podcast as one of the drearier beaches in England. Mm. A place known for its dreary beaches. I've been told, I haven't been. I think they sound lovely, but I like the Oregon coast. So, you know.
I do too.
Yeah, I know. I'm coming there soon. Don't you worry. So they went to investigate the next day. Hang on. I skipped ahead a little bit. So the local cops were called that same night. After like Halt and everybody like got back, everybody's back at the base and they're like, something's fucked up out there, but it's off the base, so call the bobbies. Yeah. And so
like let's double check, make sure it's not a fucking prank or something dumb.
Yeah, pretty much. The loudest fucking truck in the universe just went by. It's like, you're really cool, dude.
Couldn't hear it at all. So you're in the clear.
Good. Oh, good. So the local police were called and they dismissed it as the lights from the nearby Orford Nest Lighthouse. Okay. I'm just going to go ahead and throw out there that a lighthouse doesn't land on the ground in front of you and then take off at an incredible speed. They typically stay in the same spot for eternity and just go blip.
Yeah. That's blip. It's pretty recognizable.
Blip. Yeah, and it's impossible to me that these men on this Air Force base were not familiar with the Orford Nest Lighthouse. They absolutely were. Like,
Yeah. They're all
the end.
credible witnesses, right? They're all
Yes,
sober.
if one dude, exactly, they're all sober, they're all, a lieutenant commander, this base may or may not, absolutely 100% did have nuclear weapons on it. Like,
Yeah.
there's no way that they have dipshit McGee's out there. This is not McHale's Navy. um so the cops basically just dismissed it and went back to their pub, pretty much, I would imagine,
Okay.
to be boring and lame.
Yeah.
um so the next morning, the patrol of the same guys who had been out that night, the night before, they went back out to be
Mhm.
like, this, let's check it out. And like, so they found 3 deep impressions on the ground forming a triangle. They took plaster casts of all of those. They are plaster casts. I don't know. Maybe I don't have the eye for them, but like,
Mm.
even when they do like the Bigfoot ones, I'm just like, what am I looking at here?
Yeah.
But they also found burn marks and broken branches on nearby trees.
That's
And
interesting.
right. And they took a readings for radiation and found a few areas with spikes in them, like significantly higher than what should be background radiation. However, it is notable that the radiation readers, whatever, meters, were not the type to pick up just like environmental or background radiation, that kind of a thing. They were more for like a major like nuclear incident,
Hmm.
which would be like what the kind that they would probably have on a base that had nukes.
Yeah. Okay.
So they may not have been as effective, but it is interesting to note that even those ones who are supposed to pick up massive amounts of radiation picked up spikes out there. Like,
Yeah.
that feels like that's still a spike in radiation, you guys.
Yeah.
That's
I mean, there should be like a
it's still a
baseline,
radiation spike.
right? Like at a, any place with nuclear
Yeah.
weapons, there should be like a baseline, and it's like, oh, it's not supposed to spike above this, certain amount.
And that's what it was. And in the documentary, which has the
What's it
best
called?
name, I Know What I Saw.
Bitch. Like, I just feel like that
No,
should
I
be
wish that.
included
No,
at the end.
it's just, I know what I saw. And it's full of like angry people who fucking know what they saw. The whole first bit of it's the Phoenix Lights. Like, they go through a whole bunch of different stuff in it.
Oh, really?
And yeah, and everybody knows, they know what they saw. There's somebody who is in the Hudson Valley, and she said they tried to tell me it was an airplane, but airplanes don't hover. It was hovering. Hover. That she said, airplanes don't hover. It hovered. Airplanes don't hover, which I've been just kind of mumbling to myself for the last little while.
I
Airplanes
mean,
don't hover.
that's like a good soundbite. That's probably gonna end up getting stuck in my head. Where's this documentary on?
It's on Amazon. So if you have an Amazon Prime
Heck
account, which
yeah.
sucks because like we're all like sucking Daddy Bezos's dick in and that all day
Yeah,
long,
for
just blow up
real.
its space. Like, I
We're all
always
together. Look, we're all one nation. There's no lines. You can't see borders when you're up in space. I'm sorry. I just fucking.
I'm
Did
sorry,
you
isn't
watch
that
that interview?
exactly what no, God no.
Oh,
Ugh,
it's so
vom.
irritating. Like, I watched like a minute,
No,
right, where he's
I
just like,
just
"We're all one people" with this fucking cowboy hat on. Ugh. Ah. Anywho, go on.
I
Sorry.
don't like it.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's on Amazon, so
Yeah, I'll probably watch
there's
it.
that. Yeah. Oh my God, dude. You should. I watched it a few times.
Hey, I'll
Again,
watch it when you finally start watching
watch People of Earth.
the
I
people of
know.
Earth.
I know. I know. I know. How about this, Megan? How about this? I'll watch the People of Earth when you make a post on TikTok.
Done, bitch.
We'll fucking see. We will see about that. Okay. So, getting back to it.
Okay, so next day they go out there, all this weird
So
shit.
they go
fucking
out there,
radiation.
they do the radiation things, they find the markings, they find burn marks on the trees. They're like, okay, all right, you know what, we got to get the cops back out here again. And because like this is a big deal, feels like a big deal, but like it's not on our base. um So they called the cops again, and they came out and goes, must have been an animal. I don't see anything worth investigating out here.
Oh my god, like a dragon that like just like burns some trees and shit.
Right?
Like,
Yeah, I was gonna say, what the fuck animal? Like, if we were in Australia, maybe, but like, they're not. I'm pretty sure something down there breathes fire. It's got to. But
anywho, this
but
story.
no, yeah. There's a so I am going to read for you now the memo that Lieutenant Commander Halt. Hang on a second, if I can open it. Okay, this is what is known as the Halt Memo. It was released in 1983 because of the the Freedom of Information Act.
Okay.
And people got their hands on it, and then the whole fucking Rendlesham Forest incident exploded. So this was the memo that was released on 13th January 1981. So about 2 weeks after the actual incident. It seems like these guys like weren't sure exactly what to do. They knew something had to be done, but they also didn't want it to get squashed and like not actually investigated.
Okay.
Because it like they were already being like made fun of on base. Like everybody
Oh yeah.
involved was like getting immediately, like all of these dudes had like a hard time with promotions and stuff like that later in their careers. And yeah, everybody just had
Sucks.
a really rough time of it. So they weren't quite sure what to do. The guys who actually saw it and who knew what they saw really, really, really wanted this to be taken seriously. They all know what they saw. There's just a bunch of old Air Forcemen saying, I know what I saw. You can't tell me what I saw and what I didn't see. I know
So what does the memo say?
it. So the memo says, it is subject, unexplained lights. Early in the morning of 27 December 80, it was supposed to be 26 December, and he fucked that up, and then a lot of things just kind of unraveled around it because of basically of a typo. Approximately 0300L, I'm not sure what that means. It's about 10 o'clock at night, I think. I don't know if they're using I don't know. Two ASF or US Air Force Security Police patrolmen saw unusual lights outside the back gate at RAF Woodbridge. Thinking an aircraft may have crashed or been forced down, they called for permission to go outside the gate to investigate. The on-duty flight chief responded and allowed 3 patrolmen to proceed on foot. The individuals reported seeing a strange glowing object in the forest. The object was described as being metallic in appearance and triangular in shape, approximately 2 to 3 meters across the base and approximately 2 meters high. It illuminated the entire forest with a white light. The object itself had a pulsing red light on top and banks of blue lights underneath. The object was hovering or on legs. As the patrolman approached the object, it maneuvered through the trees and disappeared. At this time, the animals on a nearby farm went into a frenzy. The object was briefly sighted approximately an hour later near the back gate. The next day, 3 depressions, 1.5 inch deep and 7 inches in diameter, were found where the object had been sighted on the ground. The following night, the area was checked for radiation. Beta gamma readings of 0.1 were recorded in the peak readings in the 3 depressions near the center of the triangle which formed the depression. The nearby tree had a moderate 0.07 to 0.05 to 0.07 readings on the side of the tree towards the depression. So later in the night, a red sun-like light was seen through the trees. It moved and pulsed. At one point, it appeared to throw off glowing particles and broke into 5 separate white objects and then disappeared.
Oh, shit.
Immediately thereafter, 3 star-like objects were noticed in the sky, 2 objects to the north and 1 to the south, all of which were about 10 degrees off the horizon. The objects moved rapidly in sharp angular movements and displayed red, green, and blue lights. The objects to the north appeared to be elliptical through an 811 or 812 power lens. They then turned into full circles. The objects to the north remained in the sky for an hour or more. The object to the south was visible for 2 or 3 hours and beamed down a stream of light from time to time. Numerous individuals, including the undersigned, witnessed the activities in paragraphs 2 and 3.
Damn.
Signed, Charles I. Halt, Lieutenant Commander, or Lieutenant Colonel, U.S. Air Force, Deputy Base Commander. This dude is high fucking ranking. I'm like, I'm just gonna throw it out there, man. He knows what he saw.
I mean, are we speculating or is there more?
Um, so there's a little bit more to this.
Okay.
So so it's been the official whatever stance of the US government that they don't investigate UFO sightings. Since Project Blue Book was shut down, they don't investigate.
Yeah. Supposedly.
Bullshit.
Allegedly. All right, go on.
So 5-star Admiral Lord Hill Norton was livid and extremely British about it when the Ministry of Defense decided that there was nothing of interest, nothing of national security interest that had happened that night. And
Allegedly.
I'm just gonna go ahead and like paraphrase what 5-star Lord Admiral Lord Hill Norton, which is quite a name.
Sure, it is.
He talked a bit like this. He said, there are two options. Either Lieutenant Colonel Holt and his many men are lying, or he's like, either what they say happened actually happened, or these guys are lying, or they're hallucinating. And he said, far be it for me to think that the Lieutenant Colonel Holt, who is a deputy commander of an Air Force base that is known to have nuclear armed aircraft on it. Like, there are nukes there. Everyone, it's like not a well-kept secret.
Yeah.
That man is hallucinating, and so are 80 of his men. If that's the case, that's in the interest of defense to look into.
Yeah, no
and
shit.
if that's not the case, and if a foreign aircraft or a craft from outer space was able to land on an armed military base in their country, like, and get on the ground and have 3 dudes poke it with a fucking stick, then maybe that's of defense interest as well. You know, but either way, it should be goddamn looked into.
Yeah,
and
but this sounds like a response to not cause mass panic.
Man, that's exactly what they said. Later, you know, like, there's
they don't want the mass panic of like a dude who's high up on a Air Force base with nuclear arms is having hallucinations, because I mean, that's a dude that has probably the key to fucking, you know, go on the fucking weapons. Like, that's somebody you don't want hallucinating, if that's what
exactly.
you know.
But if he was, you should goddamn look into that, don't you think? Because that is a guy you don't want hallucinating.
Yeah, for real.
So, like, even if it was a hallucination, even if this was, okay, we can get into speculation land here now.
Did he retain that position? Like, did he stay that high up for an extended period?
He retired.
So it's not like he had that instant happen and it was like, oh, we're gonna take you out of that role.
They didn't retire him. They didn't move him. They didn't do anything like that. A lot of the military memos,
his sanity or his sanity was not questioned.
His sanity and his integrity were never in question. Nor was that of Peniston, anybody out there, Halt, Neville, Ball, Burroughs, Cabanzag. All of them were like, there was a bunch of the memos that were just like, these are upstanding dudes. Because, like, again, they're not just going to send anybody to that kind of base. Not just anybody gets picked for overseas duty. Not just anybody gets picked for the specific places.
Yeah.
Like, I know, like, I had to fill out packets to go on to volunteer for certain things and like to be picked out of a group, kind of a deal. Like, if I met whatever qualifications.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one is super intriguing to me. Like, it feels real. And like, when I was watching I Know What I Saw, the guys, like, it interviews, like, Peniston is on there, Burroughs is on there, everybody is on there, like, being interviewed and talking. And like, in like 2007 or whatever, like, a whole bunch of people went out to Washington DC and like sat down and had like a massive press conference. Like, military people, like the governor of fucking Phoenix, like, went and talked about like I didn't want to make fun of people, but like I kind of had to. Like, I believe it. I believe what was up there, like with the Phoenix lights and like everybody from this incident was there. A bunch of people from like all over the world, like military leaders and like government like officials got together and were just like, here's the deal, motherfuckers. There is shit in the sky
Damn.
and we don't know what it is.
Yeah.
The end.
That's fucking interesting.
Yeah.
That's
Dude,
like
this
compelling. Like this is
it's extremely compelling. You should listen to the tape, man.
honestly like the way it's described in the memo, or like no, I don't know.
The
It
whole
was
memo.
maybe it's the memo, but like the way it's described is similar to me as the Phoenix Lights,
Yes.
right? Like the breaking
Very
apart
much.
into like you know, 3 or 5 different parts or whatever. Like that sounds like what the Phoenix Lights videos actually look like.
Yes,
The way they
very much.
move, you know?
And I think I'm starting to get like the feeling that it like that these things are all connected. Um yeah, I'm losing my mind. I'm like quietly going insane over here. I'm just like everything's connected. Like they're coming for us. But also it's really interesting to me. Oh, but before I forget. So it was thrown about on one of the podcasts that I listened to, which was called Stories of Strangeness, with
Okay.
a really cute couple named Zoe and Matt, I think his name was. And they're a cute little British couple, and they
Mhm.
covered this incident. And they brought up Project Bluebeam actually, and that
Oh
some
shit.
people, yeah, and that some people think that this could be Project Bluebeam,
I
where like
mean,
it was like projected out there and like a test on these guys, like to
but
see if
in
it
the
would work.
80s, I don't think
I
so.
don't know, man. I don't know. One never knows what, like, I don't know. There was that one cult where that guy was using like holographics and stuff to like make it look like he was doing magic and shit. I don't remember what the name of it was, and I'm maybe it was the Solar Temple people, but
Well, that is interesting though that they bring up Project
like
Bluebeam because they
yeah,
say that
because
that's supposed to be
holograms.
out of the ocean, right? It's like holograms projected like from the ocean.
Well, they were right there on the beach.
Exactly, right? Like
Yeah.
so that is interesting. That's an interesting theory.
Hmm.
I do
Yeah.
think Project Bluebeam's bullshit though, honestly, at the end of the
Oh
day.
yeah, no, for sure.
I think
Anything with
that's
the New
like
World Order is not real.
straight up well, like it's not that I don't think that Illuminati exists. I just think that that is a waste of time. Like that branch of it. I still think a little bit of the New World Order, but like I don't want to like totally admit that. Like I don't know. I go back and forth. It fucking depends on
Yeah.
the day. Like it depends on how
Honestly,
fucking pessimistic I'm feeling about like people like fucking Jeff Bezos. Like
yeah.
just the elites.
Just explode in space already.
Yeah. Can you imagine? You know what
Wouldn't it be
my favorite comparison to that was
the
like
Doctor
there's
Evil?
is yes, the fucking Doctor Evil bit. Like that's
Yeah.
been going around
Yeah.
like specifically like the penis shaped rocket that like Doctor Evil
Goddamn
has and then like
right?
fucking Jeff Bezos. Like it's
Yep.
just dude, it's so
Is that
fucking
a
funny.
giant Woody? Woody Harrelson? Oh
Yeah.
my god. I love Austin Powers, but that's not what we're talking about right now.
Uh,
But yeah, no, Project Bluebeam, that was definitely brought up in being a maybe it's this
yeah.
kind of an option. Um, Also, Rendlesham having long had that history and being in the creepy Anglia, where because I don't remember if it was East or West. Uh,
I don't know.
um, but it.
That's a really disturbing voice. It was the
Thank you.
aliens.
Yep.
Um,
So with it being in that creepy place and with like that curiosity that I have about whether or not aliens, the Phalians theory that I have and love so much, um, like maybe weird stuff's happened there. People didn't like going there. It's a creepy spot. Everybody like, even like on the podcast with the two British people that I was listening to, like I guess they're not far off from Suffolk and Ipswich and
mhm,
whatnot. And they were like, yeah, no, that place is creepy.
yeah,
Yeah. So it could be that like what if it's just one of those things where it's a known creepy factor place.
yeah.
But this is not one where I think that it's a flight of fancy. I don't think that this is somebody making something up. I don't know, man. I know that I've said this about all of them, but I really believe in this one, you know. Like that's the point. Like I don't want to cover any of the ones that like feel like bullshit, you know?
Yeah, unless I don't I think the bullshit ones are interesting if they're like really popularized, you know, especially with a
Yes,
lot
or
of like
cleverly pulled off or something
yeah,
like that.
yeah,
Yeah, for sure. But
right.
I love the story of a con man too. So
Yeah. It's
yeah.
foreshadowing.
Ooh.
Um
Um, but yeah, like Peniston is basically a cop. Like I've never listened to somebody sound more boring when they were talking about the UFO that they stood in front of for 45 fucking minutes. I'm just like, Jesus Christ, dude, like put some flavor in it.
yeah.
You know, a little gasp, a little bit of, but no, he is a military man, and what he saw was there. It was about a 5 degree angle. It was like listening to Hank Hill describe it. Like, I swear to God, I swear to fucking God, I've been watching a lot of King of the Hill lately because
Dude, me
it's so
too.
funny.
Like me
It's
too. I don't
so
know why.
fucking great. I don't
Uh
know what's happened. We're on the same wavelength in a big way, which is
yeah.
awesome. But
I
yeah,
love
when I
Bobby. Bobby's my fucking
Bobby
favorite.
Hill, he's so great.
I love all of
But
his
when
little stories. But go on, sorry.
right. But when he like walked onto the screen and started talking, because I like having like at the press conference, I could just, and as soon as he started, and I was like, oh fuck me, it's Hank Hill.
So it's like somebody who would not report
He
on
was
this unless they felt absolutely compelled to, right?
like
Like I
they had
have
to,
to
like it was his goddamn duty to do it, and he had to do
like
his job. And then
he knew what he saw.
he knew what he saw. And I do
It's
not
just
think that he has the ability to make it up.
yeah. Yeah. Like that's
You
just
know,
not
like I don't think that he has that kind of an imagination. And not to be rude to Jim Peniston, but if you can be that serious of a person with the last name Peniston,
that's
you are unshakable.
I would assume though that like is like what built his personality of being that person because if you allow wiggle room with that last
I
name,
w-
people are gonna
yeah,
fucking tear you apart.
that's true.
Like,
But I could imagine him being like one of those fourth graders who looks like he's 45.
yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
even like when he was in the fourth grade, still having that like little part and the little glasses and a sweater vest on.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So
The
like
one
a
that takes
serious
things
dude.
too seriously.
Yes,
Yeah.
very much so. Like
Yeah.
all of these guys, like they were convinced, regardless of what actually happened, they 100% believe the story that I just babble fuck told you.
Yeah. It is an
Yeah.
interesting story. I do think though, man, that is so like I think what blows my mind is how similar it sounds to the Phoenix Lights.
Right?
Like really like I don't know, like I've also been listening to the last podcast, like their alien episodes, like because we've been
Yeah.
talking about aliens. And they talked about like the oh fuck, what are they called? The Greys? The Greys. Um,
Yes.
right? Like signing a treaty and shit. Like I think that's interesting
Which one? Nixon or somebody?
with oh fuck. Johnson.
Eisenhower.
Maybe
Johnson.
maybe it was Eisenhower. I think you're right. I think it was
I feel like it was
Eisenhower.
Eisenhower.
It was
I was just
Eisenhower.
honest to God, dude. I was just saying presidents that were after World War II. I was pretty sure.
Yeah, it was Eisenhower. I'm pretty sure you're right. Um, but yeah, I think that that piece is interesting, right? And you hear a lot about if you like research this stuff enough, where like the whole seeing sightings near nuclear energy sites, nuclear missile sites,
Bases.
uh,
Yeah.
anything with nuclear energy seems to be like a magnet to this shit. And like a lot of
Yep.
the time, like I can't remember where I saw this theory, or maybe it's something we've talked about, where it's like they're keeping people in check because like they'll go and like randomly shut down. Like I've seen shit where it's like nuclear power plants like getting shut down or like losing all their power or something for a little bit
Mhm,
as
mhm.
like a no, just like a remember, like you fucking can't do this shit, like we're gonna control it and make sure you guys don't fucking blow each other up. So I don't know, I think that's an interesting.
That's interesting. Like they're babysitting us, and they're like, the stupid angry monkeys aren't quite there yet. They'll get there soon if we can just keep them from blowing each other up.
Yeah,
Like we're a
exactly.
bunch of toddlers.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest though, that is kind of like how it feels with like wars and like weapons, where it's like, Jesus
Hmm.
Christ, like we don't need to blow each other up for fucking oil rights or whatever. We shouldn't even be fucking that interested in using oil. But like, that's a fucking, I digress,
Yeah.
right? I can go on a whole fucking rant.
Oh, I
Uh,
know you can. I have just stared at my phone and played Pokemon while you went on those rants.
yeah,
Um,
you're a
I
good
love
friend.
you.
So supportive.
I know. You need to hear, you need to get it out. I don't need to absorb it.
No, you don't. Nobody
No.
does.
So I just
We're
go,
not going to talk about it. But I
yeah.
mean, that is also the whole point of the podcast is to like let's rant about some fucking weird alien
Some
shit.
weird alien shit, man. But yeah, I don't think there is any way that any of them were making this shit up. They were all super believable. They're all very credible witnesses. They didn't have like histories of bullshittery, kind of like Betty and Barney Hill, like they didn't have a history of straight up bullshittery.
Yeah,
So yeah, like it's very compelling. I like it a lot. I'm intrigued, and yeah,
yeah. I think it's an interesting story.
that's
That's good.
yeah, me too.
I don't need to
I
speculate any further, do you?
Oh, I do want to tell you one more thing that was
Okay.
weird about it. That after Jim Peniston touched the craft,
Mm-hmm.
he kept daydreaming, and like he could not get zeros and ones out of his head, like a message in binary code. He didn't know binary code.
Oh shit.
And so he wrote it out one day and just like wrote out like the 1 0 1 1 0 0 1 0 1 0 all the shit, and then it just drifted away.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it got translated at some point, but I couldn't find what it got translated into.
Oh no!
Yeah.
God, I would want to know. Fuck.
I know. Hang on. I'm gonna stand by. Tell me how you feel about that while I look up the translation.
God, that's so interesting though, because like, in this other documentary, fuck, I talked about during like Project Bluebeam. They talk about though about like receiving messages, like writing them down, and then them like dissipating, right? Like you got it out, sort of a thing, which I do think is fucking interesting. Like you're meant to receive the message, write down the message so you know what the fuck it is. Like we know you received it basically. Like it's like your red receipt sort of a thing. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. I think it's fucking interesting. I've never heard of it getting to someone in binary code like what what they talk about in that one documentary is like just
Hang on.
immediately knowing it, like just like having it in
Yeah.
in your brain all of a sudden. I don't know. Binary
Yep.
code's interesting though.
Hang on. Breaking the Peniston binary code. Keep talking.
God, I don't even know what to talk about. I do think that's a fucking interesting case.
I can't find it. I
Uh,
told you, dude. I couldn't find it
let's
in like
uh
all.
let's post it
Well,
on like Instagram, right?
yeah, I'll find it and I'll read it. I'll do a dramatic reading of it like I did the Halt memo.
Or
I
let's
think
just
it
talk
just
about it next week.
yeah, we can bring it up then. I'll try to find it again. But yeah, like the binary code just like boinked right
Yeah,
into his brain, like as he touched it. And he said it went away after he wrote it down.
it is interesting.
Super fucking weird, man. Super weird.
It's a
Big,
theme. It's a
big
theme,
if true.
right? That's the thing.
Yeah.
All these things like they have all like the same common symptoms
High
or whatever.
strangeness is the
Yeah.
term for it.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. But we know that none of these dudes were high.
Yeah. So it's
Yeah.
just strangeness.
Yeah. Or it's even higher in its level of strangeness though, because like at least if you were stoned, you have an
Yeah.
excuse. You
Yeah.
did psychotropics or whatever.
Yeah.
But
Or under the influence of anything, really. Like I don't
yep, right.
yeah.
God, the smoke out here needs to clear out. My eyes and nose are so itchy.
Yeah.
Um,
Anywho,
but yeah, I think that covers it up. Do you have any more questions or anything you'd like to know about the Rendlesham Forest UFO incident?
um no, I would like our listeners though to rate, review, and subscribe.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
and follow us on Instagram. And then if they have any strange stories or any thoughts on aliens or whatever the fuck they want, they should email us at tinhattimepodcast@gmail.com. Looking at you, Kevin. Fucking
Yeah,
Kevin.
Kevin.
When are you
Send us a
gonna
fucking email,
when are you gonna
Kevin.
email us, buddy? Just kidding. We love
Yeah,
you, Kevin.
Kevin.
I'm
You're our
just-
favorite.
yeah,
But yeah,
that's
yeah.
it.
Everything is on Tin Hat Time podcast. Find us, talk to us. We want to hear your stories.
Yeah.
That's
So,
all. Like, rate, review, subscribe.
okay,
Boom.
bye.
Did it. Yeah.